Hello, my name is June Klein-Bacon, and I am project manager with the Brain Injury Alliance of Iowa. My pronouns are she and her. For those of you that may need a visual description, I am a middle-aged Caucasian woman with dark brown hair. I'm wearing a multicolored striped shirt, and I am in my home office. Today with the Brain Injury Alliance of Iowa webinar series, we are looking to just highlight some resources that we have available to you. We are working on expanding the library of accommodation tip sheets that we have for anybody that is accessing the resources on our website. And so with that said, we don't necessarily have a PowerPoint to go through, but I am going to walk through some of the accommodation tip sheets and some resources that might be helpful for you as a individual that experiences brain injury, a family member, and or a professional engaged with somebody that experiences brain injury. So as I get the website up and going here, I just do want to note that our program is funded through the Brain Injury Services Program here in Iowa. And this webinar is funded through opportunities that we have with a contract with the Department of Public Health, and will live on our YouTube page as well as be posted in our social media platforms. Any of the information that we share on our webinars or educational opportunities are not intended to be taken for medical advice. So if anything that you hear would prevent you in pursuing medical treatment or medical advice, we would encourage you to reach back out to your practitioner to ask questions about that. So with that said, you should be viewing our homepage on our website. As you can see, we have a couple of different ways that you can access our resource library. You can see here that there is a photo to be able to, or a graphic that you can get to our resource library. We also have a drop-down menu here. And so what I want to focus on today is that we do have, over the last fiscal year, in 2022, we were able to develop a variety of accommodation tip sheets. And we did that in collaboration with the North Dakota Brain Injury Network. And then in addition to that, we utilized a variety of resources that come out of Colorado as well as Ohio for citations as well as development of these products. So I'll go ahead and just start to navigate here into the accommodation tip sheets for professionals so that we can, just as a starting piece, these are again evidence-based tip sheets that we worked with another state, with North Dakota, with Colorado and Ohio resources to be able to pull together some accommodation tip sheets that might be helpful for you as you're serving individuals out in the community. These are also helpful and resources that individuals with brain injury as well as family members could be able to reference. I would note that these are starting points, right? These aren't necessarily a silver bullet, if you would, to develop accommodations for every issue that somebody might be experiencing or every symptom that they might be looking to overcome. But they're starting points for people to be able to come around the table and think about, how do we start building accommodations or building compensatory strategies to overcome maybe a challenge that somebody might be experiencing? And so I would really encourage that as you take a look at these, you'll notice that there are some common challenges that individuals with brain injury might experience. But as we say in this field, when you've seen one brain injury, you've seen one brain injury. Every person experiences brain injury differently. And so while there definitely are some common challenges and common symptoms that people may experience, they aren't going to be identical. There's many factors that come into play related to pre-injury status, access to both natural and professional supports, community-based supports that come into play related to how somebody may be able to evaluate what those challenges are and think about the strategies to overcome challenges. So as you can see on this particular accommodation tip sheet, it just gives some common challenges that people may face. All of our tip sheets are really laid out the same way. It gives you a kind of a definition of something of the topic, and then we look at what that might look like. And in this case, we're looking at common challenges. And then with the next page, these are designed to be a front and back page. You can see that there are some starting points for us to think about. And this rowboats accommodation tip sheets really came from some information that we gathered out of Arizona and their program there. And it's really helpful for us to just think about some common things that we can do to support somebody with brain injury, reducing the amount of information that you provide at one time, and really getting to know in a person-centered way how much information somebody can process and be able to retain, and then be able to follow through. So that might mean giving one instruction at a time. And some of this really has to do with making sure communication channels are open with the person that you're supporting and evaluating opportunities to work on a strategy. Providing information in both written and verbal formats are going to be helpful. I think also, again, you're going to hear me say this multiple times, figuring out with a person that you're trying to develop a strategy with what works best for them. Is electronic communication helpful? Is it writing down the information, pen and paper or pencil and paper, in addition to that verbal communication, that back and forth, being able to have that information? Taking breaks are super helpful for all of us when we're taking on new information or learning different strategies or developing habits. Thinking about routines and how we might be able to implement different opportunities for somebody to gain information or commit to habit or develop a routine related to a specific strategy. And when we're communicating with somebody, asking that person to paraphrase or repeat, having mirrored conversation happening so that you can ensure that there's an understanding. I would note here when you're in a conversation with somebody and talking about a strategy development, that it is helpful to make sure that you revisit that information, just because perhaps, and this, I can experience this often throughout my day. I might have an understanding of information within a setting or a conversation with someone. But when I go to revisit that conversation or revisit the concept at a later date or in a different environment, I may struggle to remember. So working with somebody to paraphrase, repeat, working on what their understanding of a concept might be, and then again, repeating that again. Taking time and going slowly, and simplifying information whenever possible. So I would note, so this is just one example of an accommodation tip sheet that I think can really kind of across the board be helpful for reference. What we have then, as you take a look at all of the different ones that we offer currently, you can look at information regarding anger, attention, delayed processing, and I don't necessarily have to read all of these to you, but just want to give you the opportunity to see that there are a variety of different symptoms, if you will, that somebody might experience challenges with, that there might be some tips to think about for strategy development. So I'm just going to go ahead and open up delayed processing so that we can take a look at that. Again, all of our tip sheets are formatted in a front and back. If you wanted to print, if you wanted to make copies, they do live in a public domain. We were able to develop them using contract dollars through the Department of Public Health. And they are available for you to print, for you to be able to share with the folks that you're supporting, for family members or with your colleagues. So as this is just taking a moment to load, I would also share some really exciting news that we have coming in the coming months. We are looking to add a number of additional tip sheets for strategy development and accommodations on a variety of topics. So we look forward to adding those to our library for you to be able to access. And it looks like I'm just having a little bit of trouble with loading here. So technology is wonderful when it's online and challenging at best when it's not working. So again, all of our tip sheets are going to look very similar. You have a symptom or an experience that somebody might be having, and then a definition, a simple definition of what that might be. So in this case, we're looking at delayed processing and what that is in terms of the brain's decreased or slowed ability to process auditory, visual, or cognitive information. And then it gives you some simple things. Again, this is not going to be all inclusive, but gives you some simple things to consider. What somebody that is experiencing delayed processing what you might see in your interactions. So it gives you some things to look for, some things to consider. And then as you proceed, you can definitely head to the back side or the second page in this case of accommodations that you might consider for that person. And again, when we're talking about person-centered planning and when we're engaging with somebody, I think it's really important that person be engaged with understanding, gosh, it seems like when I give instructions or follow-up conversations, we're not getting all of the pieces. And so when we think about how to manage that, do we start thinking about different ways for somebody to be able to access that information? So you can see here, again, not going to be all inclusive, but you can start to pick and choose with someone on how to give them information to ensure that they're accessing all the components of your conversation or the service that you might be providing. So you can see here again, and I'm not going to read these to you necessarily, but just wanting to give you an opportunity to see what is available for you to be able to access on these tip sheets. Again, we're looking forward to being able to add additional tip sheets. We do have them available for either the person with brain injury or their natural support. These are the exact same topics that we just took a look at on the professional side, but gives you an opportunity to be able to provide families and or individuals that are experiencing brain injury the opportunity to see this information perhaps in a format that fits how they would read it as a person that might be experiencing that symptom. So we'll just again go to the delayed processing tip sheet. We can take a look here. Again, apparently my internet has a little bit of delayed processing. And so again, the layout is the same. It gives you information on what the definition, a brief definition of what delayed processing might be, what it might look like, or what it might feel like in a person's experience, and then lays out some of those tips for strategy development again. So one of the things I would note as well that I would like to make sure that you know is available is our neuro resource facilitation program. Our neuro resource facilitators are available to any Iowan that is experiencing brain injury, their family members or natural supports in their life, as well as the professionals that are connected to them and providing support. So I'm just going to stop sharing screen there and see if that helps. So as I mentioned, these tip sheets are a starting point for you to be able to take a look at with someone that experiences brain injury, but it might not be, it's not a one size fits all. And so you can engage with our neuro resource facilitators to evaluate what are other opportunities to be able to think about different strategies that might apply to that person and be able to support the team in evaluating what opportunities or what strategies might be a better fit. But these are definitely going to provide you with the opportunity as a starting point to get that conversation going with the person that you're serving. So we do have, again, it's just a little bit different wording, but you'll see that we have these laid out for individuals with brain injury and or their family members. Again, we're looking at the delayed processing piece, what to look for. You're gonna see that these are very similar in nature in terms of language and bullet points. And then the accommodations piece. So asking for extra time. So this is a little bit more reflective of what a person with brain injury might be looking at and reading and thinking about what strategy might they be interested in to try to manage and overcome this symptom of their brain injury. And of course, we're encouraging folks to definitely advocate for their needs and to have open lines of communication with their service providers or with their family members to think about how to develop strategies, how to develop accommodations that are going to work for them to be able to move forward. So again, I would just note that with these different accommodation tip sheets, we can provide neuro-resource facilitation services to professionals, to family members, or natural supports, and of course, to the people that are experiencing brain injury to help walk through how is that person experiencing their brain injury? What symptoms are they experiencing? And if they are in a place to think about strategy development or think about accommodations they might need in a variety of settings, our facilitators can help walk through what that might look like in engaging their team or other support systems to manage those symptoms and seek out different strategy development as well as accommodations that might be needed. So with that, again, I'm super excited to be able to share that in the coming months, we will be developing and posting additional accommodation tip sheets for your use. In the meantime, I would just invite you to take a look at our website, take a look at the resource library, the accommodation tip sheets that might help you in navigating those symptoms and again, connecting with our neuro-resource facilitators in the event that you just need another layer of support. Those facilitators can be useful for a variety of reasons. So contacting our program, of course, you can go to our website. We have a chat feature on our website that you can utilize. You can also email us at info@biaia.org. And you can also contact our intake line. We have a number that is statewide, 855-444-6443. And of course, you can find all of that information on our website. And we invite you to connect with us so that we can be a support to you. Thank you and have a great day.